Hi everyone, this is Trent Sutton with Wild Imaginings, and we are presenting you a fantastical history of Waco. Fabulous tales of dubious veracity, written by Ashley Bean Thornton. Today's story, Escargot.
On March 11, 1889, Joseph Daniel Bell and his crew drilled into a rock formation in South Waco and sent a geyser of hot water spewing into the clear blue Central Texas sky.
This gusher helped turn Waco, Texas into a popular tourist destination for the next 20 years.
You see, a hydrotherapy craze was sweeping the nation.
It was believed that hot water from deep underground carried minerals that could miraculously cure all manner of ills.
Ardent adherents claimed it could cure anything from upset stomach to heart disease to mental illness.
Hydrotherapy is a cure-all unlike anything we've yet discovered.
The healing properties found within the earth are unlike anything we can manufacture ourselves.
I had a friend who had these awful warts, and no doctor could figure them out. She couldn't get rid of them, poor thing. But then she went and bathed at one of these springs for a week. She spent an hour in those waters every day. And you know what? They were gone. They never did come back after that.
That's incredible.
I know. Ever since then, I've sworn by it.
And my mother, she was arthritic. So I took her to one of those resorts, and we both spent 3 days in those waters, and let me tell you, I've never seen her move around so well.
No.
I take her once every 6 months or so, and she is good to go.
That is amazing.
As it turns out, Waco was situated atop an underground ocean of this prized subterranean water.
Soon, there were so many artesian wells being drilled that Waco became known as Geyser City.
Local business tycoons wasted no time building luxurious natatoriums,
Indoor swimming pools,
and artesian resorts to cash in on the crowds of visitors.
Pilgrims came from across the country and even around the world, flocking to Little Waco Town to bathe in the medicinal waters.
But our story today is about a particular one of these resorts, owned and operated by Archibald Rambeau.
The Aquarius Spa and Restaurant Francois was one of the most famous, though shortest-lived, establishments offering access to the waters.
It was located downtown at the intersection of 6th and Mary Streets.
A man of enterprising spirit, elegant tastes, and debilitating greed, Rambeau had already made a small fortune in France.
He had done so by breeding and selling ever tinier poodles to the wealthy mademoiselles.
But tiring of that, he had recently immigrated to America, with the single-minded purpose of turning his small fortune into a large one.
He arrived in Geyser City,
aka Waco,
in 1892, just as the enthusiasm for hydrotherapy was reaching its peak.
Wanting to take full advantage of the opportunity, he immediately went to work constructing the Aquarius.
Yes, sir. I want this to be the grandest building in this city. Do you have experience in European classicism?
I built some fancy houses in my time. We'll make sure we do it up nice for you, Mr. Rambeau.
Done up nice? No! It must be perfect. I require elegance, style, beauty, inspiration, relaxation. It must be a place where people want to enter, never want to leave. It must have a soul. You understand?
I reckon I know what you mean. Yeah, I guess so. Sure thing, Mr. Rambeau.
Are you confident in the task?
Well, yes, sir. I've been in construction for...
Experience is good, but I require passion, gusto, a keen eye for detail, a desire to create.
Look, Mr. Rambo, do you want me to build you a boat or not?
Yes, of course I do. Here are the plans. But the Aquarius is close to my heart. You must understand. It's like sending my child out into the world for first time, not knowing if it will be understood or how it will be received.
All right, Mr. Rambo. I'll take it from here.
Built in the lavish Belle Époque style that was popular in France at the time, the Aquarius Hotel and Spa, as it was originally to be called, made the surrounding buildings look homely by comparison.
It was 3 stories high, with an arched roof made entirely of elaborate ironwork and clear glass.
The 3rd floor featured a huge pool for guests to partake of the curative waters.
Rambo planned to differentiate his establishment from the other local natatoriums by offering bain de minuit, night swimming.
His guests would be able to take the water cure while gazing at the stars.
Unfortunately, Rambo soon discovered that a huge pool of hot water on the 3rd story of his building created a rather uncomfortable atmosphere for guests on the 2nd floor.
And to add to the misfortune, it turned out that the warm, humid environment was perfectly comfortable for slugs.
The 2nd floor of the luxurious Aquarius was soon infested with thousands of fleshy gastropods.
Rambo watched in horror as the slugs munching on the elaborately embroidered drapes,
And leaving their slimy trails all across the Italian marble floors.
Grieving the death of his dreams of wealth, Rambo indulged in 3 days of excessive drinking and dramatic expressions of dismay.
I never should have left France. All of my tiny poodles. I come to America in search of my American dream. And what do I get? Slugs!
On the 4th day, however, he had a creative breakthrough.
Instead of opening a hotel, he would open the Aquarius Spa and Restaurant Francois,
Guests would bathe in the glorious 3rd floor pool,
and then descend to the 1st floor to enjoy the finest of French cuisine.
The house specialty would be a popular Parisian dish, but one that was largely unknown in Waco at the time.
Escargot.
Not only could Archibald Rambo open his spa as planned,
He could open a restaurant to boot.
with costs next to nothing because he could use the very slugs that he had once thought a plague to fuel his French-inspired menu.
Archibald was beside himself, and he even managed to open his establishment ahead of schedule.
With escargot on the menu, the Aquarius was an immediate sensation.
Wacoans and visitors from near and far were more than willing to pay Rambo's exorbitant prices to dine on fine French delicacies and take the water cure under a canopy of sparkling stars.
Have you been to the Aquarius Spa?
And the Restaurant Francois,
It is simply majestic.
the closest I'll probably come to Europe in this lifetime.
To be healed of my ailments while looking up into the night sky?
Magical.
Exactly.
And to taste the finest of French cuisines beforehand.
Oh, exotic.
So refined.
It makes me feel like an aristocrat.
Or as though I were of the nobility.
I can't even pronounce anything on the menu.
I don't even try. Every time I go, I just ask for the special.
Oh, yes, the I never know how to pronounce it. Escargot?
Oh, is that how you say it? I always say Escargot.
Oh, maybe. All I know is that it's delicious.
And that's why I just ask for the special.
Fair enough. Easier that way.
Why don't we go tonight?
Are you kidding? I would love to.
Despite the success of his enterprise, however, Rambo's vaulting greed soon got the best of him.
Not wanting to touch the slugs himself, he hired a local woman, Matilda May Gertz.
Her job was to harvest the ooky creatures from the second floor that provided the main ingredient for the delectable dishes served in the Restaurant Francois.
Archibald agreed to pay her 7 cents a pound for the slugs she collected.
But never content, he then attempted to add to his profits by weighting the scales in his favor.
One day, Mrs. Gertz caught him cheating her out of her rightful pay. "I know I collected more than that, Mr. Rambo."
Mrs. Gertz, I'm afraid you're weighing in at 6 pounds and 4 ounces today.
"Now listen here, Mr. Rambo. I pick up my cat all the time, and my cat weighs 8.5 pounds. And I know for a fact that those slugs there are heavier than my cat."
I do not know what to tell you, Miss Gertz. Either your cat has lost some weight, or the slugs are deceptively not as heavy as they seem.
"Mr. Rambo, I'm a woman of my word. I agreed to collect your slugs, and I agreed not to tell anyone. So I'll give you one more chance to weigh these slugs correctly."
Ugh, Matilda.
"Don't you Matilda me. I've noticed the last couple times that it seemed you were weighing them in at less than what I expected. I purposefully collected more slugs than usual today so that I could compare them to my cat's weight."
Look, I can only pay you what the scales say, Matilda. I'm just trying to run a business here.
"And I'm trying to be paid what I'm owed. Good day, Mr. Rambo. The next time you see my name come across your desk, you won't like it. That I can promise you."
Outraged, Matilda May Gertz marched straight to the office of John Wesley Downs,
The owner and proprietor of the Waco Daily Examiner at the time.
and she reported the misdeed.
Whoa. Hold up. Mr. Rambo pays you to do what now?
Collect slugs, but that's not the point. What I'm trying to tell you is that he...
Why in the world would you be collecting slugs at his establishment? Is there an infestation we should know about that he's trying to get rid of?
No, he's not trying to get rid of them. They're his main ingredient.
His main ingredient in what?
In the Restaurant Francois. The special for sure, and maybe other dishes too. I don't know.
You mean I've been...
Mr. Downs, I've been cheated. And I want people to know that Mr. Rambo is nothing but a...
Thank you, Mrs. Gertz. I have what I need here.
Mrs. Gertz was disappointed to discover that Mr. Downs was less interested in the injustice done to her than he was in learning what the word escargot meant.
The headline of the next morning's Examiner screamed in huge 100-point type, "You are eating slugs!"
Did you read this morning's Examiner?
Yes, I quite literally threw up.
How many evenings did we spend?
How many slugs did we swallow?
Stop it. I don't even want to think about it.
I guess we could just do the hydrotherapy and skip the dinner.
If that's what he's serving for dinner, what do you think is really in that pool?
What do you mean?
Well, I heard rumor that he uses the slug bodies for the meals and the slug slime for the pools.
Oh my... I suddenly feel like I need to go home and take a shower.
You probably should. I already took one.
Needless to say, business at the Aquarius Spa and Restaurant Francois dropped immediately and precipitously.
Rambo was forced to close its doors permanently within the week.
I never should have left France.
Crowds of Wacoans picketed the Aquarius day after day.
People even came from out of town just to join the protests.
Apparently, what was considered a delicacy in Paris was not looked upon so kindly in Waco, Texas.
People called for refunds.
Some even hired lawyers and sued for damages, demanding millions for emotional distress.
Archibald Rambo was ruined.
He slipped out of town just ahead of the debt collectors and the angry crowd of former customers.
Apparently, paying a week's salary to eat something they would normally have recoiled at touching with a bare toe didn't set so well with them.
Some say that he made his way back to Paris and unsuccessfully tried to reclaim his poodle breeding endeavors.
Others say he fled further east, hoping to find a new scam to finally achieve his dreams of fortune.
Regardless of Archibald's decisions after this point, our story cannot be finished without mentioning one final thing.
After word got out about the Aquarius Spa and Restaurant Francois' secrets, sales at a different Waco establishment, the Old Corner Drugstore, skyrocketed.
This was due to a sudden increased interest in a product called Winslow's Cleansing Stomach Syrup.
A recent invention that was concocted by a local Waco woman by the name of Matilda May Gertz.
And let's just say that 7 cents were no longer of concern to her.
Thank you for joining us today for A Fantastical History of Waco, a podcast brought to you by Wild Imaginings. We have a lot of other great projects besides this podcast. If you want to check out the work that we're doing, please head to wildimaginingswaco.com, see what we're doing, and if you have an idea of your own, let us know. We love working with people, just like we did here at Rogue Media Network, and Ashley Bean Thornton, the author of these wonderful stories. Join us next time for another fantastical story.
This has been Rogue Media Network Podcast.